In this video, I want to share with you 6 tips that I learned from my crowdfunding campaign. The first thing I want to say is it seems so easy to start a crowdfunding campaign, right? You just go to a crowdfunding platform, you open a page, you share the link, and that's it. You can get started right away. All the things that I learned from my crowdfunding campaign are don't do it like that. Don't just jump in, but plan it out carefully. I'm very curious to hear more about your experiences. I will share now my 6 tips. So my first tip is it starts before it starts, right? Before you launch your campaign, you will have been doing quite a lot to make sure that everything and everyone is ready for the launch. And particularly, everyone is something that's super important. And by everyone, I don't mean everyone on your team. Of course, they should be ready. But I also mean that you should make sure that every one of your closest supporters or maybe influencers that you have been able to reach out to should be ready for the launch and to help you create a big wave on the launch day. Yeah, so that means that way before the launch date, you need to look at your address book, figure out who are your closest supporters. You need to think about what you're going to be campaigning for and which kind of influencers or people that are maybe just outside of your network could be interested in supporting that. And you need to reach out to them to make sure that if they're able and willing to help you spread the message, that they're ready to do it on the launch day. Yeah, so you need to reach out to them, to talk to them, to bring them on board, and then you need to provide them with everything they need so that they can simply copy a text, attach a picture, put in a link, and share it with their network on the launch day. And one of the important things is also to see if you can get one of those people to donate just before the launch date, so that when it launches and the first person hops onto your crowdfunding page, it isn't empty. It looks like, there has already been somebody supporting this. Great. Yeah, because people like to see that a campaign is already supported, so they feel that they're going to be part of a success story. That's what people like. And nobody likes to be the first one on an empty page thinking like, what if I will be the only one who's going to donate here? Yeah, so you need to invite somebody of your closest connections to donate beforehand. If you cannot do that, maybe ask somebody on your team, on your board, maybe you yourself, just donate a little amount to keep things going and to make it look like it's an active campaign that's already successful. So that's the first lesson that I learned. The second lesson that I learned is that you may think you have a great message, but probably it isn't a great message for the crowd. Now, we find it very easy to talk about our nonprofit work, our vision and mission and values, what we do, why it's important, but we don't always do that in a way using words, or visuals or whatever it is that speaks to the general public. And in a crowdfunding campaign, you are actually targeting the general public. And you're not targeting specifically only your donors or your funding partners. You are targeting the general public. You hope to bring in maybe new donors who won't only donate for the crowdfunding campaign, but maybe even become longer term supporters, right? So you need to find a way to resonate with them, and that's not usually by talking in the way that you usually do. So one of the things that we did and that worked very well for us as a wake-up call in that respect is that we invited friends of colleagues and friends of friends to pass by our office after work. So we offered pizza and coffee, and in return for that, they would listen to our pitch, and we would ask them, what do you think about that? Does it work for you? Does it make you feel that you would like to contribute to this campaign? Yes or no? Why not? Etc. We just had a conversation, right? It wasn't a formal thing. It was a very informal pizza dinner. And we picked their brains, and it turned out that we thought we had a great pitch. We had it all prepared, and it felt totally flat. They didn't like it at all. It didn't speak to them. The thing that we highlighted as important wasn't for them the most important about our work and about the story that we wanted to share. So we had to switch it around quite a lot based on that feedback that we got during 2 nights of pizzas that we did. So that's my tip to you. Involve the target group in fine-tuning your messaging and be open to change it. So don't try, like we tried in the beginning, saying, no, but this is really the most important thing about our work. And they said, yeah, it may be important, but it doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't touch my heart. I don't feel like I could contribute to that. It feels abstract. It feels far away. It doesn't feel like something that I could be involved with. But if you tell me this story and use that word, then it does speak to me. Yeah, so it's not about you being right. It's about listening to the people that you want to reach and finding out the best way to reach them and to package your message in a way that it can truly touch them. So that's a key thing that we learned there. And I'm very curious to hear about your experiences. So if you would like to share any tips that you learned during your crowdfunding campaign, please hop into the comments and post them there. I'm Suzanne Bakker. I'm a nonprofit operations strategist, and I love all the things that most people hate, find scary, confusing, or boring, or all of them. And that's finance, admin, contracting, HR, project proposal design, and fundraising. And that's what I talk about here on my channel, on my blog, and in my newsletter. You can find all the links below in the description to join my newsletter, subscribe to my channel, and visit my blog. So let's look at the next tip that I have for you. So the next tip is about once we're ready, right? So we've prepared the launch, we've prepared the message, and now the campaign is running. And one thing that we seriously underestimated is the time required to be present during the campaign and to respond to everything that's happening. Because you might get media requests. People will start, hopefully, sharing your posts, and then you need to thank them, and you need to also maybe comment to say, like, we are ready to answer any questions, we have an update, or this or that. You need to answer questions that people might have when they say, like, yeah, it looks like this is looking for money for this, but is it really true? Aren't you going to pay the director out of this, or buying a car, or whatever? So you need to be ready to answer questions, deal with concerns, sometimes deal with hate speech. That's unfortunately how it is. So you need to keep your online space clean and active and engaged. And for example, also take time to invite people who liked your post to like your Facebook page, for example, right? So that they, if they're fans of your Facebook page, then they might see future posts as well. Yeah, so that's something that takes really a lot of time, more than we had anticipated. And especially you might need to think about where are the people that you're trying to reach. In our case, we also had a big number of people that we were trying to reach overseas with a time zone difference. So we also had to make sure that there was always somebody in the evening who was able to have a look at certain things, just to be there if something important would pop up from overseas when the day was just starting there. Yeah, so that's something that we really underestimated, and you should be really making sure that you have people who are able to deal with those things at all times during the day, and also during, of course, the weekends. Yeah, so that's an important thing that we learned as well. Then the fourth tip really follows from all of these. Planning. Take really time to think through your planning for this thing. So when you know you want to launch your campaign on a certain date, maybe because it's an important or significant date for your organization or for your topic or for your community, then count back, like, how much time in advance do I need to have this ready, that ready, that ready, etc., etc. And in our case, we took about, I think, 5 months for preparing everything before the launch. And we had another 3 months before then where we were preparing a sponsor run so that we could raise money to pay for creating a video that we felt that we needed for our crowdfunding campaign, for the campaign page. And we didn't have money for creating a video, so we wanted to raise money first. So we spent 3 months plus 5 months really preparing for our crowdfunding campaign, planning out all the steps, but also creating a lot of the content already, a lot of the posts and the stories. We created that, and we also scheduled some of that ahead of time already. We reached out to all the people. We did all those things, but it was according to a timeline that gave us confidence that if we just work through all the tasks every week, we will be ready in time. Yeah, so that's really important, to take time to create a good plan and maybe ask other people for their experiences with that. We learned a lot from other people because we had no clue really when we started all of this. So then another tip that I wanted to share is about bringing in everyone, right? So don't focus on maybe a few people inside your organization. Try to bring in everyone in terms of spreading the message, but also in terms of preparing for the campaign. And so, for example, if you have a person doing the finance, then bring them on board too, because if the crowdfunding campaign is going to be successful, they will be seeing that money coming in, and they need to know how to handle that. And they need to know what's the information that you need from them about that. And of course, they can give you advice about when you're looking at crowdfunding platforms, which platform would be best suited for the finance packages that you have, your bank system, your accounting software. There might be linkages or not. You should also probably look at linkages to your website. And of course, you should also, again, check with the people that you try to reach, which system works best for them, right? So you need, if you're targeting people in a certain country, but in that country that specific crowdfunding platform isn't available or offers only payment methods that aren't useful for people in your country, then it doesn't make sense to pick that platform, right? So that's something that also should be part of your preparation, to involve everyone and to really bring on board different expertise, not only for the campaigning, but also for the back end, the operational side of it. And then I also want to repeat something that I said in other videos as well. For example, in why a donor says yes to your organization. It's very important to be transparent about what you need the money for, how you're going to use it, what you'll do if you will reach your target or if you will not reach your target, if you will have more than your target or significantly less. You need to be transparent about how you will use any money that you will raise, and how you're going to also be accountable for that. How are you going to inform people? Can people subscribe to updates, for example? Are you going to collect their emails to send them an update later? How are you going to do that? And of course, for some donors, it might also be important to know a little bit about the fact that you do have systems in place to manage all that money properly, so that they can feel confident that if they're sending money for this crowdfunding campaign, it isn't going to be used for paying off an old loan or to paying a fine or the office rent or something like that, right? So be transparent about that and show how you're going to be accountable, so that people also feel that they can trust you, which is of course key in helping people make a decision to give you their money. They need to trust you, right? They need to like the thing that you're raising money for, but they also need to trust you that you're actually going to do good with that money in the way that you're sketching out on your crowdfunding page and in all of your posts. I'd like to invite you to watch that video on why donors say yes to your organization, or watch the video on 5 mistakes to avoid. And I wish you good luck with your crowdfunding campaign. Hope to see you in the next video.